You were saying you grew up with the Lord kind of already with you. And I experienced, like, I knew about Jesus. I was going through church. I was going through the motions, but I was living for me. I was living for the world for the first 5 years of what adult Zach partaked in when it came to Jesus.
Yeah.
And then I finally opened up the word myself, got into the Gospel of John and Proverbs, and boom, next thing you know, Jesus is in the room with me while I'm reading it. You know, it was crazy. It was a powerful moment in my own journey, for real. And it was just so crazy.
That'll mess you up.
What?
I said that'll mess you up.
It messed me up big time. And that's the thing too. It's like, that's why I kind of asked you that question, because we kind of talked about it earlier in kind of in a grand scheme of things, of trying to get back to that experience. Trying to get back to that moment of like that fire salvation where, like, I just find out about this. The Lord calls me to start a podcast. I get on there and I'm over here sharing scriptures, and when I'm taken away from it, I'm doing 3 episodes a week. You know, I'm like on fire. I'm posting about it. I'm losing friends. I'm, you know, the whole thing, right? You know, getting back to that place. But I do feel recently I've been in the season of like maturing in Christ, and like knowing that he's with me even in that moment of not feeling like a hunger or a thirst to get in his word every day like it was in the beginning. But at the same time, it's like he has me in a new season of like growing and maturing in his character, and like the revelation that he bestows upon me on a daily basis. It's like he's still pouring into me, you know, and he's still filling me up. And I was just kind of curious as to like that fire, because it's like I would describe that the fire kind of changes as you mature in Christ. It looks differently, like you're saying, kind of even like the wildfire versus the house fire, or the cookout fire. You know, it's different in different seasons. So I love that you explained that. So thank you for doing that. That helped me.
It's like, I think of like those encounters like you had, like where you're like, I was kind of just going through my emotions, and then all of a sudden like the Lord showed up. I think of that almost like a Groupon. You know, like I love Groupon, because when Groupon comes out, you're just like, man, I've never been to this place before. I've never experienced this thing before, but I've got a deal, and I'm going to get in at a discounted rate. And so now I'm going to go and try out this new restaurant or whatever, you know, or try out this new place to go to a batting cage. I don't know, whatever the Groupon you want to do. But I think of the Lord's presence like that in those early days, like that, where it's like, you didn't do any of the right stuff to get here. You didn't do any of the right things to deserve this experience, but I'm going to give you this thing so that you will come back again. It's an invitation.
Exactly. Yes.
It's an invitation. And so the presence of God is always an invitation into deeper things. Like there's no back door to the presence of God. Like I think of it like, I don't know if you have friends like this, but I have some friends where it's like, man, they could just start praying and like all of a sudden the glory of God falls. And you're like, what? How did you do that? Like
Lisa Schwartz.
Yeah. It's like, what's the way that you, like, how come it's so much easier and faster for you to get to the presence of God? And the reason is, it's not because there's like a backdoor entrance for them. It's not because they're like super gifted or anointed. It's because they've walked the path so often that now there's a trail.
Wow.
And so I've gone back to the presence before, and I know the way back. I know the way to get there. And so when I blazed the trail, the first time you blaze a trail, you're cutting through stuff. It feels like work. It's a hard thing to get there. But then when you finally get there, you're like, man, I finally made it. But then if you don't go back in 3 months, guess what? All the weeds grew back, and all the trees grew back, and all the brush grew back. And so now you're cutting the same thing like you did 8 months ago, 3 months ago, because you didn't walk back again. And the way you keep the presence of God, the fire going, how all that works, it's just continuing to go back. Like it's not complicated. It's not crazy. It's just saying, God, I know you met with me before, so meet with me again. So here I am again. But the problem is you have these people who got these spiritual highs, and they let the high sustain them instead of recognizing that it was an invitation the whole time.
Whoa.
And so it was never meant to be a mountaintop experience. It was meant to be a new place to live. Like the garden in Genesis wasn't meant to be this spot that they went and visited. It was a place they lived in where the Lord walked with them daily. But then you have Moses, and a lot of people think that Moses was meeting with the Lord on the mountain, which he was. But then what do we see? After the mountain, he builds a tabernacle. And then what does he do? He goes and meets with the Lord every day. That was his goal. And that's where we get the entire Pentateuch, is because the Pentateuch was written in the presence of God. As the Lord would speak, he would scribe.
Yeah.
And so like the goal wasn't for the mountaintop with the 10 Commandments or Mount Zion where he like, power of God show, I'm going to show you my glory and hide you in the cleft. That wasn't the end goal.
Right.
That was the invitation into daily experiences.
Wow.
And so, but we got guys who are just like, man, if I could just go back to that summer camp high. Well, it's never meant to be that. It was an invitation. It was an invitation into daily encounters with the Lord. Or, man, I got to make it back to church on Sunday. Yeah, you do. But not the reason you think it is.
Yeah.
It's so that you can, it's an invitation, it's a spark, it's a starting of a flame so that you can continue to steward the flame. The interesting thing about the flame that we find in the Old Testament is that, you know, there's the idea that all throughout the Old Testament, in the book of 2 Kings and 1 Kings and 1st and 2nd Chronicles, we find that the fire doesn't go out. And it says that all throughout. It says, and the fire did not go out at that time, or the fire would not go out. Even in the book of 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, we find that the fire had not gone out. And the reason why that's important is because that fire had not gone out since the fire came from heaven. So watch, every sacrifice made in the temple was made through fire from heaven because that fire never went out. And so the goal of them keeping that fire going was so they wouldn't have to make it on their own. The fire was never meant to be their own fire. It was always meant to be fire from heaven.
Wow.
And so every sacrifice made in the tabernacle was made on fire from heaven, which is really interesting because then it's saying that, well, it's not from your own works. It's not from your own effort, but my only effort is, watch again, providing fuel. That's all I have to do. When I provide fuel for the fire, I'm always operating off the fire that he started. And so it's not my work. It's not my effort.
Wow.
It's his fire. He started it. Now I'm just simply stewarding what he's given me.
Thank you for being here, and we're so excited that you joined us today. If you guys like the show, make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. If you'd like to support the ministry in any way, you can join us on Patreon. We launched it May 1st. It's really fun and really awesome things that we're doing out there. We're doing exclusive content, early releasing stuff, 10% off merch, whatever you can think of. We kind of got it on there as a way to give you some benefits to partnering with us. But the real reason is to be a blessing to the ministry. So you can look at that link in the description. We'll go ahead and have that for you. And if you want to go ahead and read a book, you can go ahead and buy 21 Days in Africa on either Amazon or ilikebirdsministry.com about a mission trip that I went on to Africa, and I just had a great time being able to minister to the widows and the people in front of me and the kids out there. And it's actually through my mother-in-law's nonprofit called the Subi Project. So definitely pick that up if you guys get a chance, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.